Universal Audio. I want to thank you all for coming to this press conference to discuss our exciting new product, the Apollo interface. It's really kind of an old saw for a company to say, we're really excited about this new product. But this is a very, very unique situation. I think we can legitimately claim and absolutely accurately state we are really over the moon excited about Apollo. Apollo represents 3 years of development. 3 years of development at a time over the last 3 years where a lot of companies were kind of pulling back and not investing in the future, and we were able to invest in the future and to deliver this really exciting new product for us. It's also the culmination of 10 years of vision. It really is the ultimate combination of our analog ears and our digital minds, if you will, to bridging the worlds between analog and digital.
Salve, siamo qui a presentarvi la nuovissima interfaccia di Universal Audio, Apollo. L'interfaccia è caratterizzata da un'altissima risoluzione audio, 18 ingressi, 24 uscite via Firewire audio, dalla possibilità di registrare avendo immediatamente i plugin Universal Audio a disposizione, quindi fare un tracking direttamente con i plugin Universal Audio, oltre che missare. I plugin sono di natura varia, da Namm, Studer, Lexicon, Roland, eccetera eccetera eccetera. Rappresenterà, appena uscirà, un punto di riferimento per la registrazione dell'audio di carattere analogico. L'interfaccia è dotata di 2 DSP o 4 DSP a seconda del modello che si sceglie, e quest'estate uscirà la nuovissima connessione Thunderbolt che consentirà una maggiore velocità di esecuzione dei plugin, ma al tempo stesso, anche utilizzandola con il Firewire, il tempo di latenza è inferiore ai 2 millisecondi, per cui è possibile registrare oltre che missare come era finora. Un'altra cosa importante è funzionerà da quest'estate anche sul PC, non soltanto sul Mac, perché i primi PC con l'interfaccia Thunderbolt sono già usciti, già sul mercato. Diamo una piccola occhiata al software. Questo è il mixer di gestione dell'interfaccia, può funzionare con qualunque software esistente sul mercato sia per Mac che per PC. Qui vediamo un famosissimo software, ecco che sta suonando. I plugin sono in tempo reale, per cui posso registrare immediatamente tutto ciò che entra nell'interfaccia processandolo tramite i plugin. I plugin sono i classici Universal Audio, Tooltech, Cambridge, Lexicon, eccetera eccetera. Molto semplice, utilizzabile con qualunque, come dicevo prima, con qualunque tipo di DAW, che sarebbe il software di registrazione. In questo caso c'è Pro Tools, ma funziona con Logic, funziona con Ableton Live, funziona con Cubase, eccetera eccetera eccetera. La compatibilità è, come ho detto, sia per Mac che per PC. La compatibilità per PC sarà disponibile da questa estate.
So I'd like to, without further ado, bring on our Chairman, CEO, and Founder, Bill Putnam Jr.
All right, well, thanks everyone for being here. We really appreciate it, and I'm going to be handing it over to Lev here in a couple minutes, but I thought I'd take a moment and share with you my perspective on where Apollo fits in Universal Audio's overall vision. And first, a little bit about history. For those who don't know, Universal Audio actually can track its roots back to the early days of recording. My father started recording in Chicago shortly after World War II, recorded a lot of blues and big band. And he was a technologist and an innovator at heart, so he soon started making equipment for his own studio and realized there was an opportunity there, and that was the birth of Universal Audio in the 50s. So fast forward 50 years or so later to the modern Universal Audio, and it's a company that is, I think, unique in its passion for those very types of equipment my dad was using in the studio those many years ago, making all those records, as well as a passion for cutting-edge digital technology. And indeed, we've had a we've developed product lines in both of those areas over the last dozen or so years. Best-in-class microphone preamps, compressors, limiters, and best-in-class digital signal processing plugins. To date, we haven't had a single product that has married both of those two worlds. And that is what Apollo is, and that's what it represents. So we've had a vision of, you don't have to be analog or digital. This world needs both. We want to be best of both worlds. Apollo brings those together. And the other reason we think it's unique is, imagine being able to track, monitor, or mix through any number of vintage consoles, track, monitor, mix through a Studer tape machine. This is exactly what Apollo affords, and in many ways it's bringing the workflow and the type of equipment my father used for those many years into the modern recording studio and making it accessible to many. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lev Perry. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview of the feature set of Apollo. Obviously, we've got various units around the booth. You can get a more in-depth overview. If you guys have any questions, please let us know afterwards. So, what is Apollo? Apollo has really been 10 years in the making of the current iteration of Universal Audio, as Matt and Bill kind of took you through. But again, it's the first product that really marries the analog heritage of the company and the digital heritage of the company. We've been making digital products for the last 10 years, and again, Apollo puts them together. Apollo is a superior sounding Firewire interface, 18 inputs, 24 outputs for Mac and Windows. The really interesting thing about it is it runs all of our U82 plugins in real time. And so what that means is all of the great plugins from our partners and our direct developers all work right inside Apollo with no discernible latency. It also provides additional horsepower for your sessions. It really is something that can run plugins inside your DAW, just like our other U82 products. So it plays both duties of being a tracking solution and a mixing and mastering solution. And like I mentioned, it runs our full library of U82. So I could go through this long list of the best companies in pro audio. You can read them for yourself. It's really a stunning list of the best plugins on the market. We went open last year, opened up our platform to some of the best third-party developers on the market. We brought on SPL and Brainworks last year. We're happy to announce here at the Namm show that Sonox is going to be developing for the platform. So what that means is later this year, you'll see some great Sonox plugins come onto the platform, and they'll work both on U82 and low latency in Apollo. Take you through the back panel really quick. Again, there's a ton of I/O, and it looks like it's getting a little chopped off there, but you can see 4 mic preamps. These are amazing sounding, high resolution mic preamps. 8 total digital analog inputs and outputs, as well as dedicated monitor outputs. These monitor outputs are digitally controlled analog. Very, very important for when you're turning up the volume up and down. We're not cutting off resolution. It's a digitally controlled analog part. 10 channels of digital I/O via ADAT and SPDIF. Firewire 800 standard, and there's a little bay over here on the left-hand side where you can slide in the Thunderbolt option card. Talking a little bit about what Thunderbolt really means for this product, it really is the future-proofing of the product. Right now, Firewire is a standard across pro audio, but going forward, Thunderbolt is just this amazing next-gen interconnect. And what it will allow Apollo to do is run both Firewire and PCIe inside the box. So what that means is you're going to get more plugin instances inside your DAW. It means lower latency for those plugins. And in fact, when you connect via Thunderbolt, you'll actually be able to use the Firewire ports as a hub. So for computers that don't have Firewire, Apollo actually adds it, which is very cool. The front panel is very intuitive, very easy to use, and it's got dedicated controls for the monitoring, the preamps, everything that you really want to get hands-on with. We came up with this really amazing plugin. It's a VST, AU, and RTAS plugin. Goes inside any of those DAWs that support those formats and gives you really quick access to the monitoring and the preamps right within the DAW. And that's a really meaningful thing. If you've got a control surface, you can control Apollo, and you don't have to have it right in front of you. Of course, if you want to have it right in front of you, you can. But one of the most amazing things that it does is one single button click actually synchronizes the console application. So let's say you've got the console application, you've got your plug-in chain for your recording. One button will actually synchronize the console when you reopen that session later. So you get total recall of our console with any session, even if you open up that session a year later. The actual product is available in 2 SKUs that are differentiated by their DSP complement. They have the same I/O, the same great sound quality, the Thunderbolt option bay, but different DSP complements. The Duo version will street for $19.95. The Quad version with 4 sharp DSPs will retail for $24.95. And I guess the most important thing for a lot of people is what does it come with? It ships with some of our best plugins. When you really talk about the classic UA plugins, it's things like the 1176, the LA2A, the Pultec. You're going to get those things right out of the box. You can track with them. You can use them in your DAW. Get you started right away. And of course, the entire U82 powered plugins library can work on Apollo in real time and are available on our online store. The final question that people are asking, when's it shipping? It's shipping this quarter, shipping in March. With that, I'd like to just give you a quick recap and I'll hand it along. What is Apollo? It's a high-resolution audio interface with real-time U80 processing. It is the best-sounding audio interface in its class. Real-time U80 processing allows for sub-2 millisecond latency with plugins. It's really not discernible latency whatsoever. It's just like analog. It provides additional horsepower for any VST-AU or RTAS DAW, and it's got the Thunderbolt option card, which is a separate thing that you can add on later. Speaking of Thunderbolt, I'd like to bring up Dave Salvatore, who's the Senior Communications Manager with Intel, to talk a little bit about Thunderbolt and our collaboration. Dave?
Thank you, Matt. So I'd like to start off by thanking you to give me this quick minute with you. We're really thrilled about this new Apollo. It does so many cool things, and it's such a great testament to what's possible with Thunderbolt technology for audio and for the audio world. For those of you who don't know, Thunderbolt technology is a very fast PC connection technology. It runs at 10 gigabits per second. It's fully bidirectional, incredibly low latency, 7 to 8 nanoseconds from hop to hop. So it basically has 2 native protocols, PCI Express and DisplayPort. And we're just now beginning to see some of the new audio products come out. They're going to be using Thunderbolt technology. Apollo is a great example. And it, you heard Lev talk about all the wonderful things it's doing. And it really, again, it's just a real testament to, I think, some of the innovations you're going to see coming via Thunderbolt for, basically the DAW world and the digital audio world. And so, just one last quick plug. I will be around after the event concludes if you have any Thunderbolt questions, and I'm happy to take those. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Matt.
We're still on. Well, thank you everybody for coming. I hope that was really informative. I would encourage everybody to talk to people here in the booth if you want some more detailed information. Fab DuPont is doing some really great demos. The first one, I think, at 1 o'clock, coming up soon, where he's tracked a basic session completely with using Apollo and our 4710 mic preamp, and we'll have a singer here performing live where he'll be recording and really getting into some of the details of the workflow of Apollo, so I would encourage you to see that. If there's additional information you want from the press side, I think we have a link up here on the screen where you can get additional press resources. Amanda Whiting is here floating around the crowd, as is Eric Hansen. Thank you again very much for coming, and go Apollo. Thank you.